Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today we're going to explore Unit 1, which is titled 2 is better than 1. We'll be focusing on writing, specifically Mega Goal 3.1. Since this is our first slide, I just want to say how excited I am to have you here. Over the course of this session, we'll cover some key concepts about effective writing and how teamwork can really make a difference. So let's get started and dive into what makes writing and collaboration so powerful. Today, we're going to focus on our lesson objectives. First, you'll learn how to read for specific information, which means we'll practice identifying key details in a text. Next, you'll answer some questions about what you've read, helping to check your understanding. Then, we'll explore how to use a Venn diagram to compare and write about the qualities of two friends. Finally, you'll have the opportunity to write a short essay about people's qualities, which will help you express your ideas clearly and thoughtfully. These skills are all connected to helping you improve your reading, writing, and critical thinking. By the end of this lesson, you'll be better equipped to analyze texts and describe people effectively. Now let's take a closer look at this picture. What can you see in this photo? Notice the furniture and the setting. What stands out to you? Who do you think this room might belong to? Is it someone with a taste for the classic or antique style? You can see various pieces of furniture, each with a distinct character. The furniture here seems to be antique, which suggests a certain appreciation for history and craftsmanship. This kind of room would likely appeal to people interested in history, antiques, and classic design. They value the stories behind each piece and see furniture not just as functional, but as a piece of art. By understanding these details, we connect this image to our overall theme of appreciating timeless design and the value of historical aesthetics in our living spaces. Let's take a closer look at the writer's maternal grandparents. When we read the text, we see that it mentions both the grandfather and the grandmother. Interestingly, it notes that they don't seem to share much besides the fact that they complement each other. This suggests that while they might have different personalities or backgrounds, their strengths somehow balance out. It's a reminder that sometimes differences in family members can actually create a kind of harmony. Connecting this to the overall theme, it highlights how family dynamics and relationships often involve a mix of similarities and differences that work together to form a complete picture. Let's explore what might happen if they were both like the grandfather. In that case, they would probably be so focused on the big picture or their personal interests that they might forget to take care of practical matters and day-to-day issues. This can lead to neglecting important routines or responsibilities that keep things running smoothly. On the other hand, if they were like the grandmother, their focus might lean more towards maintaining harmony and tradition, but this could also lead to them annoying each other or causing stress. Sometimes, trying to keep things perfect or avoid conflict can create tension instead. This comparison really highlights the importance of balancing different qualities. In the context of our overall theme, it shows that neither extreme is ideal. We need to find a way to manage both practicalities and emotional connections effectively to create a healthier, more harmonious environment. Let's take a moment to look at this example. It really illustrates the concept of symbiosis, where two different entities benefit from each other. But more importantly, it highlights a sense of priorities that is driven by feelings and genuine concern for the other person. Instead of focusing on material possessions or superficial gains, the emphasis is on emotional connection and mutual support. This kind of relationship shows us that true value lies in caring and understanding, which ties back to our overall theme of meaningful human interactions. It's a reminder that the most important things are often those that can't be measured in material terms, but are felt deeply and shared sincerely. Today, I want to talk about a common theme that many of us experience with our grandparents. The focus here is on the special role they play in our lives and the unique interactions we have with them. It's about understanding the dynamics that make these relationships so memorable. First, let's look at my grandfather. He's a central figure in this story, and I want to share how his personality and reactions shape the experience. My grandfather is someone who's always been caring and a bit traditional, which influences how he responds to different situations. Next, I'll introduce my grandmother. She tends to be impulsive and sometimes acts without thinking, especially when she's excited or upset. Her tendencies often lead to spontaneous actions that surprise everyone, including herself, and add a lively energy to our family moments. When my grandfather responds to her impulsive actions, it's quite revealing. He usually reacts with patience and understanding, trying to calm her down or explain things gently. His reactions show his caring nature and his desire to keep harmony in the family. Finally, I want to reflect on what this incident reveals about my overall view of my grandparents. To me, these interactions highlight the warmth, patience, and sometimes humorous side of their personalities. It's a reminder of how their differences and reactions make our family stories richer and more meaningful. Let's take a look at this slide about writing in paragraphs. Are all paragraphs about the same length? Why or why not? Read the text carefully, and you'll see that not all paragraphs are the same length. The reason is that each paragraph has a specific focus or purpose. Some paragraphs might be longer because they need to cover more information or detail, while others are shorter because they are meant to highlight a key point or idea quickly. The length really depends on the amount of information you want to include, the focus of that paragraph, and the effect you want to achieve with your writing. For example, sometimes a very brief statement can actually say more than a whole page because it's powerful and to the point. So, in writing, the length of a paragraph isn't fixed. It's flexible and tailored to serve the message you want to deliver. Let's take a closer look at the qualities demonstrated through this incident. As we read through the text, I want you to think about the key traits that stand out. First, understanding plays a crucial role here. It's about truly grasping the situation and the feelings involved. Next, empathy is highlighted, showing that we care about others, perspectives, and emotions. Humor is also present, which can be a powerful tool to diffuse tension and build connections. Interestingly, there's a lack of conflict, indicating a harmonious approach to the situation. This ties into the idea of a symbiotic attitude, working together in a mutually beneficial way. Finally, caring is a fundamental element that underpins all these qualities. When we connect these points to the overall theme of the presentation, it becomes clear that these qualities, understanding, empathy, humor, lack of conflict, a collaborative attitude, and caring, are essential for effective communication and healthy relationships. They help foster trust, openness, and a positive environment. Now let's take a closer look at the qualities demonstrated through this incident. When we think about Sarah and Nada, we can see how each of them shows different traits. For example, Sarah might be honest and faithful, always someone you can rely on. Nada could be the kind and funny one, making everyone feel comfortable. But sometimes, both of them can show qualities like being serious or even a bit messy or careless, depending on the situation. The key point here is that these qualities, being honest, faithful, kind, serious, or even lazy, are all part of what makes someone a good friend. When you think about your own friends, try to identify two people who are good friends and notice what qualities they share or demonstrate in different situations. This ties back to our overall theme about friendship and character. Understanding these qualities helps us become better friends ourselves. So, whether someone is tidy or messy, hardworking or lazy, what really matters is the kindness and honesty they show. Remember, everyone has different strengths and flaws, but what counts is how we demonstrate the qualities that build trust and friendship. Now, for this slide, I want to focus on writing a short essay about the two friends, highlighting how they complement each other. Think of Sarah as a hardworking girl who wakes up early, around 7 o'clock, to complete her chores. Because she starts her day early, she finishes her duties quickly. On the other hand, Nada is quite different. She tends to be lazy, sleeping late and not getting up until noon. As a result, she only manages to do some of her chores and leaves the rest undone, since she doesn't have enough time. What's interesting here is how these differences actually work in their friendship. Sarah's diligence balances Nada's relaxed attitude, and together, they help each other in different ways. This contrast shows how friends can complement each other, with one pushing the other to be more responsible, while the other teaches patience and understanding. Connecting this to our overall theme, it's a great example of how diversity in habits and personalities can strengthen relationships. It's about appreciating what each person brings to the table and learning from those differences. All right, for your homework, please turn to page 226 in your workbook. You'll find exercise L there. This is a great opportunity to practice what we've discussed today and reinforce your understanding. Remember, doing this exercise will help solidify the key concepts and connect everything we've learned to real-world application. Take your time, read the instructions carefully, and don't hesitate to revisit the earlier slides if you need a quick refresher. Once you're done, you'll be better prepared to apply these ideas confidently. Thanks for your effort. This will really make a difference.